Hello, today we'll be doing a penny cola experiment. For the materials that we'll be using, we'll need 2 cups, or disposable cups if you have them, cola, 6 pennies, 2 fairly new ones that we can use as a good example, and the other 4 can be, 2 can be older or around 1982, and the other can be a little bit newer. But they all 4 have to be a little bit rusty and old looking. We also need a Post-it and a permanent marker. Okay, students, I'd like you to list everything you know about cola, everything you like about it, everything you don't like about it, color, taste, what you think it's made of. I'd also like you to list out what pennies are made of and what they look like and what they feel like. Now, in your groups of 2, I would like you to explore and research all of the real cola ingredients, the amount that's sold yearly, and its history. Okay, so to start, each student will be in a group of 2 and have 2 of these glasses. Ask them to place 2 of the newer pennies into 1 cup, and 2 of the older pennies around 1982 or older into another. Then, please pour about a few inches of cola in each, so it covers. Okay, and so we know which are which. I'm going to put that the newer newer pennies are in here, and that the older pennies are in here. We are going to set these aside for a full 24 hours. So in your groups, you're going to put them aside. Okay, fast forward just a little bit. What do you think is going to happen in those 24 hours? What do you think your pennies are going to look like? What do you think the cola will look like? What do you think will happen? Please write all this information in your science log, and then we'll come back to it in a full 24 hours, and then we can observe and record what happened. Okay, fast forward 24 hours. We can take these off. Remember, okay, these are the new pennies. We're going to spill each of the colas out into a sink, preferably a white sink, so that we can see the residual. So these are the newer pennies. I want you to talk a little bit about, in your log and with your group, what happened to those pennies, what's inside the cola. You might see a little bit of a copper residual. What do you think that's from? We're going to pour out the cola, still keep those pennies in. Set them aside. Same thing with the older pennies. Pour out the cola and keep those 2 pennies inside. So we still have our older pennies, our newer pennies, and then the brand new 2015 pennies that are all sparkly and new. In your groups, I'd like you to compare and explore all 6 of the pennies in their separate groups and record what you see, what you think happened. And then I'd like you to ask any questions that you might have. To facilitate a little bit, I want to ask a little bit about, the acid breakdown. And how do you think that this cola might affect our body from what it's doing to these pennies and what we just observed them doing? In your groups, I'd like you to get some posters and poster board, markers, and I'd like you to represent your findings and your conclusions on these posters. And I'd like you to share out to the class your information that you found and what you found was the conclusion. Great, okay. Have a lovely day.